In this quick start guide to using the Habit Tracker application, I'm going to be taking you through how to create your own custom trackers. The Habit Tracker comes with quite a few predefined trackers, but you're not stuck to using those. You can go ahead and create your own definitions. You do this by selecting New in the menu bar there, and that opens up the Create New Tracker wizard. You can see the option that is currently selected is Custom, and so that's the one I'm going to use to create my own definition. I'm going to click Next in order to come through, and I'm going to try and motivate myself in order to do a little bit more juggling. So I'm going to call this the Juggling Tracker. I'm going to measure the amount of time I spend juggling in hours, and I may do no hours of practice on any given day, so I'm going to start at 0. The y-axis end is the maximum number of hours that I think I'm going to spend juggling. I'm not really going to do much, at least as much as I used to. I'm going to put in a maximum of 4 in there because there's absolutely no chance of me doing more than 4 hours juggling in a day. The y-axis increment is the segment size on the axis that I wish to use. So I wish to show it in 1 hour segments. So I'm going to end up with 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4 on that y-axis. So the increment is 1. I also wish to show 4 different segments in each hour. So each segment will represent 15 minutes. So I'm going to enter in 4 in there, and that means I can now track my juggling practice to within 15 minutes. The layout is going to remain as multi-day. That's quite a complex setting, but I'm tracking the amount of hours that I do each day. So if I was tracking something like body temperature over the course of a day, I may wish to choose single day. A single day tracker will actually show me the hours along the bottom, and so I can enter in a piece of data for each hour. I'm only interested in the level of the day at the moment, so I'm going to stick that as multi-day. I'm going to click Next because I've now finished with all the required fields there, and I'm going to move on to the optional field. I'm going to select time-based tracker there because it is a time-based tracker. I'm measuring it in hours. I'm going to leave most of these settings as normal. I am going to use inclusive counting because I started at 0 and I'm going to end at 4, and I want the number 4 to be visible. If I do not select use inclusive counting, I will only see 0, 1, 2 and 3 on there. The day mood, I'm not going to use that for this tracker because I'm not really too worried about my mood for the day or how well I have performed the juggling. However, if I wish to keep a record of how well my juggling practice went, I could select that. I can also set the tracker to be hidden so that no other users of the website can see it. But I'm quite happy for other people to know how much practice I'm doing on my juggling, so I'm just going to leave that. That finishes with the optional properties, so I'm going to go through to the Add Entries. I'm going to add an entry type here, and I have 3 ball juggling, which I might engage in for a period of time, so I'm going to click Add. I have 3 club juggling that I may engage in for a period of time, so I'm going to click Add, and I may even choose to run my unicycle for a while. So I'm going to add in an entry for unicycle. I've already used the colour green for 3 ball juggling, so I'm going to change that to blue and click Add on there. So that's my 3 entries. So that's the entry types now finished with. I'm going to go ahead and go through to the summary. So this now provides a summary of all the different options I've selected. You can see my entry types in there, and you can see the various values I selected throughout the tracker shown there. If I'm happy with all of those, I go ahead and click Create. The progress bar will show that it is now creating my custom defined tracker, and you can see that when my tracker is created, I now have the juggling tracker up at the top up there. I'm going to unlock that panel because that's what I always do. I like to have a bit more screen space. And happily today I actually did a little bit of 3 ball juggling there. So I spent 45 minutes doing 3-ball jugglings, which I'm quite happy with. So I'm just going to select in here. Firstly, I've made a slight mistake on this. I need to modify the entry types because I've got click and drag here, but what I really want on this is to have it as a type of bar. Bar is a special type that will automatically fill down to 0. So if I select number 1 on my tracker, it will automatically fill from 0 to 1. You'll see a little bit more about that in a moment, but it's a special type for tracking the amount of time you have done something. I'm just going to go ahead and change all of those to type bar and save those. And I'm now going to go ahead and enter in that I did 45 minutes of juggling of 3 balls. What you'll notice is when I click here, it automatically fills down to 0. So I now know that I have done 45 minutes of juggling, and you can see the span there is set as 0.75 hours, which is 45 minutes. I also did 15 minutes of 3 club juggling. So I'm just going to go down there and select 15 minutes of 3 club juggling. And that's how easy it is to create your custom trackers. Slightly more complicated than the predefined trackers, but if there is not a predefined tracker available for you, this is an extremely useful feature.